Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order the Economic Development Planning December meeting to order. First thing on the agenda is discussion. Does anyone have anything to discuss pertaining to this committee? Hearing none, we'll move right on to the resolutions. First resolution is a resolution appointing members, Economic Development Advisory Committee, Agriculture. It's Economic and Development Planning. I need a sponsor.
I'll sponsor.
I'll second.
Discussion.
Yeah, who's that Montgomery County legislator? Seriously though, Martin, how often does this, I've been approving this, the last 7 years.
Every 2 months.
And what do you talk about? Just issues affecting agricultural business?
That farmland protection issues.
Okay. Thanks.
And then the position that we funded a few years ago, we kind of oversee that and help steer them in the grants that we would like them to apply for.
Thank you.
Which is vacant at the moment, that position.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Martin.
But this is to, in the past, we put the chamber on here,
Right.
and now being our tourism in-house.
Yeah, little housekeeping, yeah.
Yep.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all is in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Move that to the full board. Next resolution is a resolution amending Resolution 54 of 2004. I need a sponsor. Dan? Mike? Discussion? Hearing none, all is in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Move that on to the full board. Next resolution is a resolution authorizing the county executive to enter in a lease agreement with Liltumo, I think that's how you say it, for office space for tourism satellite office, and to enter a sublet agreement for use of office space at the Montgomery County Tourism Satellite Office. I need a sponsor.
I'll sponsor.
Pep. Majewski. Discussion.
Is the rate the same?
Is the rate the same?
Yes.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained? Move that to full board, and we do have an add-on. And that is a resolution amending Resolution 112, 2022 American Rescue Plan funding. I need a sponsor.
That's fine.
Majewski.
I'll second.
Michelle. Discussion? No discussion?
This doesn't have to be spent by December 31st, it just has to be.
No, it just has to be earmarked, allocated, and contract.
And now if they decide to change their mind again, it's not.
It's, well, the problem with that, if they change their mind again, actually we'll have to go back to that.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? And we'll move that on to the full board. Also, anything under other? Motion adjourned?
Second.
Okay.
Call the Physical Service Committee to order. Floor is open to discussion.
Sure. I'd like to talk about Switzer Hill a little bit if we could.
Okay.
Can we handle that? I know that I missed the last meeting and Switzer Hill was on the agenda, but I did reach out to the engineering company to find out what the cost of that project would be to do. They've come back and said that, if you look at this email, kind of they talk about the part that would be paid under the grant from New York and what the rest would cost. There's 1.4 million that's in the grant. There's almost $1 million in the contingency fund, and then there's $450,000. I think it was 450,000, or 250,000 to take away the cul-de-sac that we put in. So, I mean, when you start looking at, where the whole project of this, if the engineering do what they're supposed to do and do it correctly, we shouldn't be spending that whole $1 million out of the contingency fund. There's room in this for work to be done ourselves. I did send another email off to Chris today, and I haven't heard back from him at all, asking him, when they get ready to do the road prep and the paving, if that could be paid out of CHIPS. So I think part of the problem with, part of this is some people want this road, some internal people want this road closed, they don't wanna do anything with this project, so they really aren't helping figure out what we can do in-house and not in-house. And I go back to years ago, the county used to do all kinds of projects. We just approved in the new budget, a new gentleman that's gonna be working DPW, 40 years of major highway reconstruction. He's supposed to be an expert. I think maybe it's time that we look at some of these projects, or maybe some of the smaller projects we do in-house, and we're not bidding those out so that we can do some of these projects and have a little extra money. But, it just seems lately that every project that comes around, Corbin Hill Road, they put a new culvert in, we bid that out. Something else comes along, we bid that out. And we just keep spending money on all these instead of saying, okay, what can we do in-house to save some money so we can do some of these larger projects? But I'm not even sure, I was told by, not the supervisor for the town of Mohawk, but another employee there saying, with the equipment that you guys have, you could probably do this whole project yourself. It's not that difficult of a project. That, yeah, it's time consuming and it would tie people up, but I think we need to rethink this, reconsider it, and it really, when I talked to Chris, I was kind of set back because his comment was, it was the first person that contacted him in a long time, so he had to go back and look at the plans, look at things, and and that resolution was up. This is the information we should have got that night with the resolution, so we could have made a really good decision on what we're doing, and I'm just,
So Bob, can we just, I'd like to see this happen if it can, and it makes fiscal sense. Always felt that way, and, that's why I sponsored it along with you. So if you look at this thing here, 4.3 million, 1.4 is the grant. Is there any paving in that 4.3? Or no, the paving's on top of that? I'm just trying to, this still means we gotta borrow the 4.3 versus 5 that Eric was throwing out there. Until we get paid
I would
the
look at the
1.4.
second page and look under construction and say that the 2.028 million would be the construction of the new road, and that's what that would be included.
Okay, in that $2 million figure.
What's that?
In that $2 million figure,
It would
right before the 2.8, right up to 2.028? Okay.
Yeah, so that part of the project is 2.8 million, and the first part is the 1.4, which, that was the grant.
Right.
And I did also send Chris another email asking him about what would have been the cost of this in 2019. Because that's when we looked at this project,
What was that number? Do you?
He didn't get back to me.
Oh.
So, so,
I'm all for re-looking at it, if it's more affordable for us, absolutely.
I just think
Always felt that way.
I just think sometimes we don't have everybody on board to say, you know what, there's a lot that we can do in-house to save some money. When we closed that road down originally, it wasn't closed, it was just,
It's supposed to be temporary.
it was supposed to be temporary.
How long has it been closed?
2019,
19. Almost 6 years, going on 6 years.
where it was in that neighborhood.
Yep.
And I think, it's no different than what is it Spraker Hill that had a problem up there, and theoretically, Spraker should be closed and not closed until this one gets fixed, but,
Yeah, I would like to see another number, because I just couldn't wrap my head around a piece of road less than 1/8 of a mile at $5 million. It just, it just didn't seem.
But there's $1 million in this for contingent, and we shouldn't.
Whose money is that? Yeah, I was gonna ask you, you said there's $1 million in contingency. It's not our money, whose money is it?
No, that would be, what happens is when they do a project, they put like it says right here in the very beginning, they
So
put,
it's really only 3.3 and there's $1 million of contingency in the 4.3?
there's, it says, if you read the first paragraph, it says the estimate's 1.4, then adding 30% brings it up to 2.08, and then the same thing on the other one. And the same thing.
Or that's in the 2,028,000 then,
Yeah.
okay. So that's So that 30%'s about an extra 900 roughly, right? 800,000, the contingency, yeah.
I just think that.
Well, I'm all for relooking at it if it's more affordable. Absolutely.
I just think there's, you know, I just.
Deserves to be open.
Get a solid number.
Yeah. It's a road that does, I said, it's an iconic Fonda road that deserves to be open if it's cost effective, you know?
But I'm not sure how many more numbers I'm gonna be
Yeah.
getting from Chris anymore either, because, you know, now that the email's gone out.
Thank you.
The other thing is I asked Brian back a while ago about, having some kind of committee together for building usage. You know, different things. I think we as a legislature need to be, more in tune to what's going on with changing of the buildings, and if we have to put, you know, some kind of proposal together, saying that, you know, but, I mean, we got the old DPW building that we've been looking at, we've got the old courthouse building, and before, changes are made with those buildings, I think we should be part of those discussions. And I think that at least there should be some kind of committee.
Like an ad hoc one or one of the whole board? Because many would argue buildings would fall under physical services, right? I mean, that we already have a category for that. So you're talking about like a subcommittee?
I'm talking about like a subcommittee that would meet and talk about those changes, because, you know, sometimes when, you know, there's just one or two people making those changes, they're not looking at, what the problem is when they need the money, they're coming to us looking for the money, and we should also be part of that.
Those earlier discussions, yeah.
So,
Take a field tour, right?
Well, piggybacking off of that, I really think if there's money out there, and we just saw we're funding, changing ARPA funds around, you know, maybe if we were to contract with someone to do a use study on our buildings to figure out how to maximize the usage of the buildings we have.
It's a good idea.
I think it's smart. That's what we did with the salaries a couple weeks ago.
It's kind of called like, we're doing it at the hospital, a strategic planning facilities assessment, you know? They're not cheap, but they talk about what's, you know, the bones of every building, what it would take to, you know, resurrect it or, you know, make it more habitable, things of that nature. Better ways to configure the space to maximize production and things like that, so.
Because when we were putting Bennett Road on and stuff, we're moving people around. I think the end result was we're getting out of the annex building. We're reducing our footprint and,
Right,
you know.
right.
All right, any other discussions? I have no resolution, so motion to adjourn.
Second.
I'd like to call the Public Safety Committee meeting to order at 6:13. Is there any discussion? No? One second here. Okay, first resolution is resolution amending the 2024 operating budget by the sheriff. Sponsor?
Sponsor.
Legislator Pep. Second by Legislator, I forget your last, I forget your name, right?
Michelle.
You're a new one at the table. Any discussion? No, all those in favor?
Aye.
I don't see that resolution.
I think you're on the wrong one.
Oh, I am on the wrong
It's under,
one.
It's under, it's,
I thought I only had one resolution.
yeah, it's under public's
Let's retract that and start over.
forfeiture.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
All right, we'd like to call the Public Safety Committee meeting together in order at 6:14 PM. Is there any discussion? No. All right, moving along to the resolution. Resolution number one, resolution amending the 2024 operating budget with forfeiture money by the district attorney. Sponsor?
I'll sponsor.
Okay, cool. Kowalczyk and Pep. All those, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, move to the full board. And is there anything under other? Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you.
All right, I'd
Sorry
like to
about
call the
that.
Health and Human Services Committee to order. It is 6:15 PM. This is a committee of the whole. First on the agenda is discussion. Anybody have anything? Hearing nothing, we will go to my one resolution, because there was one pulled. And this is a resolution amending the 2024 operating budget, NYSED 4410 3-5 preschool projected year-end account shortage for public health. Sponsored Legislator Peck, second Legislator Majewski. Any discussion? This will cover us for the year, right? You hope.
I'm hoping. So our issue here is that, as you know, school years start in September, and we had 12 children who started the school year with one-on-one aides. And so that number went from 9 to 14 at the end of the year, back to 9 for the summer, and then went back up to 12, and then we added another 14. So the tuition rate per day for one child, I'm sorry, 1 month, let me rephrase that, tuition for 1 month is about $20,950 a month just for the one-to-one aid. That does not include the tuition and the transportation for that child to go to school. So we are paying the low end for a child who's not going 5 days a week is $17,552. The child who's going 5 days a week is, as I said, $20,950. And we can't predict that number. That's all decided on the school district, who they feel needs a one-on-one aid. The children are requiring more and more services. So,
Thank you, Sarah. Chairman Sweet.
Sarah, since we're in December, did you
Yes.
look in-house to find any funds that you may have in lines that are not being spent or won't be spent for the?
that would be great, except our grant money can't be used to fund this, so I can't take our Kersey grant money or our Ebola grant money and shift it. And this is a program that I have fully staffed in-house, so I don't have payroll line items that are unused. I do know that we are working to get Medicaid reimbursements up much quicker, but DSS isn't here. DSS is having the same problem with Medicaid. Med-Ed is not operating, and the state has put holds on Medicaid payments for second, third, and it looks like fourth quarter vouchers. So the good news is the state has to pay us back, so the money will be coming, but it's just, the state is very, very behind, and I don't have the capacity with this program to shuffle funds unless it's payroll.
All right, thank you.
Anything else? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Anything other?
So the other resolution on here really isn't on here?
No, it's really not. It's pulled.
Okay.
It's pulled. Did you think I was making stuff
You
up?
gotta make sure in the right month.
Very confused.
Is
It's
that
on
your
here.
other
It's
under?
on here, I'm confused.
Yes. Anything under other?
Because
It's
in
hard for
theory,
me to say.
no, in theory, if it's on our agenda, doesn't it, whether we vote it down or not, doesn't it move forward?
I think they want to remove it from consideration though, from the agenda.
Okay,
Okay.
You were all notified.
I know,
Okay.
but it's there.
Talk to IT.
Didn't get screwed.
All right, hearing nothing else, I need a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Legislator Kelly and Legislator Peck. It is 6:19.
Okay, we'll call the Personnel Committee to order at 6:19. Is there any discussion or anything from the floor? Hearing none, the first resolution authorizing the county executive to enter into a memorandum of agreement between the County of Montgomery and Council 82 correction supervisors for a period of 1/1/2025 through 12/31/2028.
Sponsor.
Sponsor, second, Mike. Any discussion on this? Yeah, go ahead.
And we negotiated with Council 82, and much like all the other bargaining agreements that we have, we looked at their salaries, and they were included in market adjustments. So what you'll see for the first year is a market adjustment for 2025, and then moving forward for the subsequent years, it will be
couldn't put it in because you didn't know what it was gonna be when you
No,
were
we
doing
just signed
budget?
the agreement,
Right.
December 2nd.
Right.
So, and it was actually a very, productive meeting. It was all done in one session, and,
Good.
both teams worked really hard to get it done. And, good place moving forward.
And again, I'm gonna bring up my comment on this, and I think that when these things come forward, we should have been at least, we should have something in front of us. And we should be able to see, you know, this was a negotiations. We should be able to see what we might have gave up, or what they got. I mean, we're sitting with absolutely nothing. We're approving a document that we've never seen. And I also think that the legislator, some legislators should be on the committee when the negotiations going on, at least, so that they could come back and report to the members, or maybe there's stuff that we feel should be there or not there, but, you know, I mean, again, we're voting on a resolution that we've never seen any part of. I mean, and I don't think that's 100%. I mean, we don't do that with a lot of other stuff, so I don't, you know, but again, that's what I brought up in the last time we voted on a negotiation, and again, we're doing the same thing again, so.
I would think we could have the personnel chair sit in on the negotiation, is that,
Yeah, I mean, I think,
that we probably defer to the county attorney, our leader attorney, with regards to Taylor law and, any other applicable laws and
and it's something to look into, because that would give us, you know, like Bob said, a little insight to what's happening in the negotiations.
Or at least a confidential piece of paper that we were handed out, at least showing us, you know, here was the former contract, here's the new contract, here's the differences, so that we can see what was redlined in different things. I just think if we're supposed to make decisions, we should be informed on what the decisions are that we're doing. I mean, it just-
at the,
Cash was a revised version of the changes that were made in the MOA. Just for your review, it was attached. So you can see where things were crossed out and where changes were made. That's attached to the MOA.
I think it's,
And it opens.
It does.
Yeah, it opens here.
Yeah.
It doesn't open anywhere else.
Did you want to say something there?
I think it's something I can definitely look into and give you guys an opinion on. But I think it's an excellent point, and especially, at least at the very minimum, figuring out a way to get information better to the legislature.
Before we vote on it.
I really think it should be a financial chair's job, since it's money.
I mean, whatever.
We only got one more month.
So, any other discussion? All in favor, with the full board?
Aye.
Opposed? Next resolution authorizing the county executive to sign a renewal agreement with Midwest Employees Casual Company for excess worker compensation coverage. Sponsor? Sponsored by Dan, second? Yep, okay. Any discussion on this?
Can you insert what needs to be inserted? Is this
Um,
one?
If you look in your binders, I think under backup, you'll see the changes that would have to be to change this before it goes to the full board.
Go ahead.
The only other modification that would be in there is that, again, the treasurer's they cannot transfer funds for 2025 and 2024. So that, transfer from and transfer to, in the changes that you see there, would have to be, removed. And then I'll have to come back to the legislature in January to make those transfers to pay the bill. The only concern I have, is that the bill is due in January. So if you approve in January and then the executive has his 10 days to approve, we could be, and depending on when auditing runs, we may be running late on paying the premium. But I will work with the company on that.
So just so I'm clear, so the changes you're looking for are the 238, 369 in the blank and the resolved?
And, anything that's in yellow, with the exception of, under the resolution title, I will take out that first yellow because I cannot, amend the operating budget in 24 for 25. And then anything else that is yellow is something that has been added.
So we're putting no dollar amount in the cost?
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
just
you're
not trying to
putting-
transfer.
Oh, okay.
Put in the 230.
The other thing that I will say, if you don't mind, is that the rate has held flat from the last 2 years. We've kept it at the same. The change in premium is about $45,000 over last year, and that's a reflection due to our payroll increases. And then as payroll increases, I'm sure Council maybe 2 will pass, that'll result in an audit towards the end of the year, which will then expect to pay some more additional fees based on that rate you see there. Again, what was adopted in the 2025 operating budget does fall short from where the premium has been imposed.
So you wanna swap out this resolution for the one with yellow minus the 2025 changes?
Yeah, that's fine,
Does that work?
that's fine.
Do you wanna add a resolve clause in there that says that this resolution is contingent upon a 2025 budget amendment, so at least you have that assurance?
Say it again, but it's.
Do you wanna add a resolve like in the previous resolution that says that this resolution is contingent on a 2025 budget amendment? So that there's, or will necessitate a 2025 budget amendment, so it's just noted?
Yeah, as long as that doesn't mean that it could fail to move the money, because then we will not have stop loss.
Right, well, it wouldn't affect moving the money, that would be 2025, but just so it would note it in the resolution that you would need the companion one, so there's just this,
I see what you're
the trail.
Yep, that sounds good.
Is that okay
You can
to
send
add a
me
resolve?
You can just send me that.
Sure.
Any other discussion? All in favor, move to full board?
Aye.
Opposed? And anything under other? Hearing none, motion to adopt.
Second.
All right, I'd like to call the Education and Government Committee meeting to order at 6:27. Remind, it's a committee of the whole. Open the floor for discussion if there's anything. Hearing none, we do have one add-on resolution coming to us vis-à-vis the college, although it's doesn't necessarily benefit the college in any way, but it involves their properties. Resolution authorizing a power line easement with National Grid at Fulton Montgomery Community College. I'll sponsor it. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Chairman Sweet. Greg is here. Greg, if you could just, give the backstory on this. I know it's been out there for about a year, and Fulton County got around to approving it recently, so.
Sure.
Yeah.
This was a request that National Grid brought to both counties regarding connection of the Maxam solar project that's across the road that's on Mohawk. In order for the transmission lines to connect to the distribution lines, you need to change the guideline from, which is currently going east-west and north-south to support the weight of those lines. And in order to do that, they need an easement granted from both counties. So as Mike said, the Fulton County approved that at the November meeting, and it's before you. So they're not adding a pole, they're not, all they're doing is changing the direction of the guideline.
And putting in a new pole. You think you're gonna get a new pole
Right, but
up?
they don't need your approval. for
No,
that.
no, no, I'm just,
Yeah.
that's to finish the story.
Yeah,
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 when,
okay.
when I asked them about it, and I said, yeah, I don't have any problem with it, as long as you give me a new pole, because the pole is there, is crappy, and it's got lines, and they're like, yeah, we really think you need to do that anyway, just to support this, the weight, so.
Thank
Get
you.
a new, nice looking pole.
All right.
And just to note on that, there is a difference between Fulton County passed it with $0 consideration. But I negotiated with National Grid and they're gonna be giving $3,000, which we're gonna split between the counties, so,
Oh, nice.
so that's just a slight change.
They wanted to-
Yeah. Half of it's going to Fulton County.
Was our
I haven't
idea,
gotten my
we-
thank you letter yet, but you know.
So, you'll split it here?
Call me next time.
We should keep 2/3 if it was our idea. All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Anything anybody else would like to discuss? Hearing none, motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, at 6:30.
Call the Budget and Finance Committee to order. Is there any discussion?
I have something.
Okay.
Sorry. I just wanted to mention that we will have an add-on next week because we got our property insurance values back. So I'll be submitting a resolution for an add-on so that we can have insurance next year. They always get them to us a little late. I've been working on it, but not always easy. But it's within budget,
Okay.
so that's good.
All right, any other? All right, moving right along, resolution authorizing the use of American Rescue Plan funds and amending the 2024 operating budget. County Treasurer, is there a sponsor? Legislator Walchuk, second by Legislator Wilson. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, carried. Next is a resolution approving abstract of all other claims. Is there a sponsor? Legislator Majewski, seconded by Legislator Allen. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, carried. Is there anything under other? If not, I'll look for a motion to adjourn. Legislator Kowalczyk, seconded by Legislator Allen. Legislature.
We don't need to hire an auctioneer.